Hello all and welcome, and I am the Bachelor Philosopher on YouTube, also known as the Realist Philosopher on other alt-tech platforms. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the latest new push toward replacing partners with animals, and seeking to justify it, meaning the mainstream media, lamestream media, is seeking to justify it and even present it as a viable, good, positive alternative because it'll help reduce the risk of dementia in later years. Yeah, your hubby's not going to do that. Your hubby being around, having a hubby, that's not going to help reduce the risk of dementia. But somehow a cat or a dog will. So you can feel good about getting rid of your hubby. You can feel okay about it because there's some positives in getting a dog or a cat or a chihuahua, ferret, opossum, whatever, that the real human doesn't give you. This is something that the left, that the mainstream, that the powers that be have been pushing for a long time now. Replacing significant others with animals. And I see this all the time, and it gets on my freaking nerves. People walking around with dogs that have shirts on, the little booty shoes on, especially out here in the desert where like the pavement, the asphalt can get hot and burn the pads, this little sensitive pads of the dog's feet. So the owners put these little booties on their dog's feet. It's like, what the heck are you doing? It's a dog. Who cares? Give me a break. Their feet will get used to it. Just, walk them a little bit. They'll develop some calluses. You don't need to be putting shoes on your dogs. That's just like the way that these people go out of their way to anthropomorphize and humanize these animals. Why not just have a human partner? No, we don't want that. We want to divide you so we can conquer you and more easily rule you. So, if we get you believing that animals are actually not only a good replacement for people, but preferable, oh, well, yes, that makes it so much easier. Yeah, so much the better. Yeah. So, by the way, it doesn't say that humans don't reduce the risk of dementia. I would think that a husband or a wife would do more to reduce the risk of dementia than an animal. Like you're playing parcheesi or bridge or chess or doing crossword puzzles together, hanging out together, having conversations, mentally stimulating each other. Wouldn't that go further to reducing the risk of dementia, being constantly engaged mentally, than an animal? I mean, I know a lot of pet owners talk to their animals, but the animal don't talk back. There's not a lot of quid pro quo going on there. But that's what they want. That's what the powers that be want. They want us ever more atomized, ever more separated, ever more divided, so they can continue to exercise ever more control over us. So, from, of course, the Daily Mail. It's like the leading rag out there for mega kooky, loony leftist stories. Having a dog or cat in later life could help reduce the risk of dementia, a new study suggests. And there's a lot of chicks out there clapping their hands, gaslighting themselves into believing that they made a good decision, getting rid of their hubby. I've been married 30 years, but I felt it was time to sow some wild oats. I got married out of high school, and I've always felt I was missing out on something. And now, well, more than ever, I'm feeling the need to find myself. And now I've got this article here telling me that if I have a dog or cat, I'm going to be almost as well off, maybe even better, than if I had my hubby. So let's do it. Divorce time. Oh, man. So dog and cat ownership may slow down cognitive decline in older people living alone. How? Okay, so, and older people living alone. Yeah. So having someone else there. Yeah, but you see, you don't need to have a pesky husband there. You don't need to have a pesky, well, they're not going to tell that to dudes. The dude's definitely got to stay with his woman. Only the wife has the right to have some standards and feel aggrieved and put upon and then leave. But the man, if he's unhappy, too bad. Keep pulling that baby. Keep pulling that blow till you drop dead. Oh, but yeah, this is a replacement, yo. You're afraid of being alone? Don't be. You get a dog or a cat, you'll be just as well off as if you had a husband. You know, it's going to slow down cognitive decline. Not as much, of course, as if you had a husband there, but we're not going to tell you that. Living alone, which is the case for around a third of all Americans, is linked with a greater risk of dementia. I'm not surprised. You know, I mean, you're not interacting. You're not really working your brain that much. A lot of people, older people living alone, they're watching soap operas, mindless entertainment. Yeah, not much of mental stimulation going on there. You know, you're not reading Socrates, right? You're not reading Tolstoy, right? You're not really engaging in any deep philosophical questions, right? You're just sitting there watching whatever soap operas are popular these days. Do soaps still exist? I don't know. I don't watch TV. Oh, yeah, it's linked with a greater risk of dementia. That's not surprising. But a study of almost 8,000 people suggests... what was this study? Was see, this is a problem with lefties. They'll call surveys studies. And of course, you know, they don't expect you to dig any deeper. So they'll just, you know, dishonestly call it a study when it's really just a survey. They probably called like 8,000 people and asked them a series of questions and, you know, came to whatever predetermined conclusion they already had and asked them questions that would give them the answers they wanted to then say that they'd done a survey that proves their predetermined conclusion. A study of almost 8,000 people suggests having a pet. Suggest! Oh, I see. Have you ever heard that correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation? No, never heard that. Suggests having a pet could reduce that risk by making people less lonely. So I can see the logic behind that. Again, but it's a dog. All right, you're engaging with the pet, you're engaging with the animal, you're having to think of things to do with it, you're having to remember to feed it, you're having to remember to take it for a walk, so you're more active in that sense. And of course, being more active is going to reduce the risk of dementia. And of course, that greater level of activity and that awareness that you need to do these things with that dog or cat to keep them happy, to keep them well maintained, especially if you have a dog. Cats are, you know, less maintenance. Then I could see how that would help reduce the risk, but how much? And is that better than having a person there? I mean, I wouldn't think so. I don't see how. Researchers looked at people living in England over 50 and were asked if they lived with a pet, and then they were given tests in their memory for words and verbal fluency. So for you to come to this conclusion, wouldn't you have to give these people these same tests, these memory tests, before they actually had an animal, so that you had a comparative baseline? I mean, you couldn't just compare these people to others their same age who don't have pets, right? I mean, maybe if you have enough of a sample size, you could come to some conclusion. Like if you had 8,000 people that were the same age as these people that have pets, but the other 8,000 people group didn't have pets, and then you test them, and then the group that is an equivalent age that has pets did better than the group that didn't, then maybe you could come to some conclusion. Did you do that? I mean, what was your point of comparison if you didn't do that? England, over 50 were asked if they live with a pet and given tests on their memory and words for verbal fluency. It is normal for verbal memory and fluency to get worse as we get older. Well, yeah. Oftentimes, that's not surprising. Oh, but this decline was slower in people living alone who had pets. Okay, so pets can be like, they're not a replacement for a person, okay? And this article should be saying that, and I wonder if it's gonna. I wonder if this article is actually going to say that people who actually have a partner living with them in their later years are even better off than people that have pets. Of course not, because that's not their agenda. Their agenda is to push pets as a replacement for people. Because, you know, people are hard. It's difficult to live with someone. It's difficult to stay in a long-term committed relationship. It's not easy because people have wants and needs and desires and quirks that are far more numerous than a dog. And dogs are easy, right? You feed them, you take them out so they can take a dump, but you actually have to pick up yourself, and you're essentially the dog's servant. You actually end up doing more for the dog than you would a hubby. And you know this is focused at women, right? You know that this study has been designed, put together, put out there to gaslight women into being more comfortable with being alone in their later years. Because, hey, just get a dog or a cat and you'll be fine as wine, which they know very well. Wine, that is. Oh, because they drink up a lot of it to cope with their loneliness. That this article seems to imply will be mitigated by having a pet. And that a pet can somehow replace a person. They're not going to tell you that it can't. Of course not. That you'll be better off with a human being. No, 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 no. But this decline was slower in people living alone who had pets. I believe that. People talk to their pets and engage with their pets a lot like they would with a person. The problem is the pet don't engage back in the same way. They're dumb. You don't get as much out of it. The quality of interaction isn't nearly as high. Of course not. It's an animal with a 5 IQ. Dr. Yanji Li, who led the study from Sun Yat-sen University in China, I don't know how much I would trust a so-called study, survey, whatever, coming out of China. Why do we need to quote studies coming out of China? Why ain't I hearing this from some Western university? Why hasn't this study been done by Cambridge? Why hasn't this study been done by some, legit, respected Ivy League Western university? The companionship provided by pets might reduce loneliness. Okay, this is all speculative. It seems speculative. I mean, you're saying it does because you asked 8,000 people, but it doesn't sound like you had a point of comparison. It doesn't sound like you had a separate control group of people who didn't have pets but were of equivalent age. And it doesn't sound like you questioned these people who had pets before they had pets and then went back to them 5 years later after they got pets and asked them the same questions again. I mean, might reduce loneliness and increase well-being. While taking dogs for walks might help to meet other people, so it's not the actual animal itself that's providing the improvement in some scenarios, just the fact that it's making you have to go outside and talk to other humans, which is eminently preferable, I would think, to talking to a dumb dog. Through providing a topic of conversation, Well, can't you go out and do that without a dog? Yeah, but you see, the dog provides the icebreaker. You see, people are too socially retarded these days. Am I allowed to use that word, retarded? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, people are too socially retarded these days to strike up conversations without some kind of, subject piece, animal, whatever, to use as an excuse. Yeah, because we need excuses to talk to each other nowadays. Oh, yeah. Our results show that pet owners were less likely to be socially isolated than non-pet owners. I mean, yeah, I guess. So, a lot of places have like dog parks and such, and pet owners hang out there, and it gives you something to relate over, bond over. It gives you an excuse, the ability to meet with and interact with other people. But I don't know why you can't do that without an animal. And by the way, wouldn't you be able to do that if you had a partner? I mean, both of you were together and constantly interacted and helped each other and you went out. Couldn't the point of conversation be meeting other couples? Like you go out on a walk and you maybe see another couple out on a walk and you say hello and you start a conversation and then maybe you, ask them if they want to come over and play Parcheesi or bridge. Or whatever games old people play to try and keep their minds spry. Wouldn't that be preferable to a dog? Which is good for the brain and reduces the rate of cognitive decline. I mean, I think you could say that about just about anything that gets you out of the house and interacting with other people. I don't see why you need a dog for that. Dog owners may also get more exercise. Yeah, I said that already. Of course. So minimally, you're going to have to take a dog out at least 4 times a day for a walk. Unless you're like super uber lazy, meaning you got a dog door in a backyard that's fenced. So there goes the more exercise theory, right? Now that goes out the window. The dog just goes in and out the dog door whenever he wants to do his business. I mean, I guess you could say that maybe you're more likely to go outside and throw the ball to the dog and, play with the dog if you have a dog. But that's not been my experience. My experience with people that have like yards and doggy doors and such, they don't do anything with the dog. That's why they got the doggy door, because they don't want to do anything with the dog. So I don't know how it's going to help those people get more exercise. So the more exercise and going for walks, and you sleep better after being tired out by these walks, which could help with cognitive function. Yeah, but none of these things, none of these things are things you couldn't do without an animal, right? I mean, you could even walk around the house and talk to yourself, right? And get your thoughts out and reply back. I mean, that might sound odd, but doesn't mean you're mentally impaired in any way. And I would think you would get more out of it because, you talk, then you think about what you said, and then you verbally express what you, response to what you just said. So you're getting double the mental stimulation there. So you're expressing yourself and then answering yourself and expressing yourself again. So you have to think more deeply about what you said. I would think that would be a lot more conducive to reducing cognitive decline than just constantly expressing yourself to a dog. But any type of pet is calming. I don't know. Have you seen some of these tiny little dogs? The yappy kind. They're constantly running around. And anytime there's the smallest little noise, they're barking, and you don't get any calm. You don't get any peace. Not to mention the fact that when you're trying to sleep, they wake you up early. I'm not so sure that's true. Relaxing, it can relieve stress and anxiety. While looking after them and feeding them can provide a sense of meaning and purpose. Faux meaning, faux purpose. A sense of meaning and purpose? You mean that you got something to do as opposed to having nothing to do? Wasn't that poor time management? I mean, doesn't that just mean that you haven't really taken the time or put in the effort to find hobbies and develop skills and participate in activities that are positive and conducive to overall well-being and health and mental stability and mental health? Yeah, I don't get this. So meaning and purpose. So I guess, why, if you were somebody that actually had gotten married, had kids, have grandkids, why do you need a dog, an animal around to give you meaning and purpose? You got grandkids, right? You got kids, right? No, you don't. This is for the lonely, never found a man. I don't need no man. I'm strong and independent. I'm a boss babe queen women that put off finding a husband so long that they never found a husband, never had kids, right? So they need an animal to give their lives meaning and purpose. That's so freaking sad. Yeah. Don't find a man! Even though you're too old now to have kids, you might still be able to find some blue pill sucker that'll marry you because they want companionship, but God forbid you want companionship from another human being. No, just get a dog. Just get a dog. You still don't need no man, right? Yeah. This is a perfect recipe to be miserable as well as lonely. Make a dog or a cat your purpose in life. Isn't that great, ladies? Yeah. Among 7,945 older people looked at in the study, more than a third owned pets, and it was 27% lived alone. So, okay, if you're like together with somebody, I mean, I can see how this could like enrich your life further or keep you a little more active, right? But I don't think you should get pets as stand-ins for humans or to try and cope with the sad reality of your life. So you need to face reality because then you might actually do something to improve it. Meanwhile, if you get this dog to try and fill some kind of void, you're actually just going to make your life that much worse by being in denial of the truth. So I don't think that's a very good idea. But I think that if you're like a couple, I can certainly see where an animal would enhance things. But if you're alone, find somebody else, another human being, before you consider getting an animal. So their verbal memory was tested by giving them a list of words and asking them to remember them, both immediately and after delay, while verbal fluency was measured by asking people to list as many animal names as they could within 1 minute. Again, if you didn't have another focus group of people without pets but of the same age, or you didn't study these people well before they had pets and then use that as a baseline and then compare that to them now having pets, I don't see how this is an actual study or anything we should take seriously. For people who did not live with anyone else, those with pets had a slower rate of decline. Oh, did not live with anybody else. So what was the rate of decline for those that did live with someone else? Was it even slower than the group of people who didn't live with anybody else but had a pet? Of course it was. But they don't want to tell you that. They don't want you to look favorably or positively on, actually having somebody else there. They don't want you to choose that option. In their language skills, even after taking into account factors which could affect their brain health like age, some medical conditions, and exercise levels. Indeed, the rate of decline was roughly the same in pet owners living alone as people with pets who live with a partner or other people. The rate of decline was roughly the same? What does that mean exactly? Roughly the same. Either it was the same or it wasn't the same. So there was a differential. There was a variance. The people that live with other people were doing much better. And I can imagine that the people living with other people and with a pet might have been doing better overall than the people who just live with somebody else but didn't have a pet. But there's a lot of other factors you have to take into account here. For example, do those people have kids? Do those people have grandkids? Do they have grandkids? How often do they talk to or interact with these people? How often do they watch their kids, or how often do they watch their grandkids, their great-grandkids? How much interaction do they have with family? There's a lot of varying factors that I don't think are being taken into account here that could explain some of these variances or lack thereof. So, and by the way, them saying roughly the same leads me to believe that it wasn't the same, and that the people who were doing better cognitively, mental health wise, well-being wise were the people that had someone else in their life, meaning another human being. So, by the way, they say this. So decline was roughly the same with pet owners living alone as people with pets who live with a partner. Makes sense? Or just other people, and they had no pet. Roughly the same in regards to people living alone with a pet or just living with a partner, which tells me the people who were living with someone else were still doing better than the people who just live with a pet. Why? Why was that? And were there other differentials? Were there other factors? Did some of these people that lived alone but had a pet also have kids and grandkids? And that would help them do better because you've got that interaction quite often with other people. There's a lot of factors to take into account here. Anyway, the story continues by saying, it means simply having a pet could completely offset the faster rate of decline in verbal memory and fluency, unless there's other factors at play here, which you're not looking at because you went into this survey, not a study at all, with a preconceived conclusion, and you just sought out evidence and asked questions that would give you the answers that you wanted to fit the narrative, the conclusion that you'd already come to. So, yeah, it could completely offset the faster rate of decline in verbal memory and fluency seen in people who live alone, who typically have fewer daily conversations and mental stimulation. The findings follow previous evidence that having a pet makes people feel less isolated. Of course, there's something else there. That makes sense. Quite apart from the other health benefits of taking a dog out for a walk every day, which I already proved is not necessarily the case, because lots of older people have houses and they get a dog door. Previous study, which tells me that a lot of older people are just lazy. All right. Previous studies have suggested that people with pets are mentally quicker. Suggested? So this is a lot of speculation. Might, could, suggests, and have better executive function, which helps with planning and problem solving. So none of this is proven at all. But the evidence is mixed. Yeah, as I said. And more tests are needed to show that having a pet slows down cognitive decline generally. Right. So this is nothing. You're just speculating. You're just speculating. You did some phone surveys with questions that were designed to confirm your already existing bias. As the current study only tested people for their abilities with language, which could be affected by other factors. Although the slower decline in thinking skills seen in pet owners is likely to mean a reduced risk of dementia, so likely, there's nothing definitive here. More evidence is needed for this too. The study, published in the Journal of JAMA Network Open, looked at people asked about being... So that's not a study. See, I was right. It's just a survey. Asked people about pet ownership and living arrangements, and then they were given thinking tests. Yeah. But only the ones that already fit your criteria that would lead to the conclusion you would already come to. It did not find pet ownership slowed the rate of cognitive decline in people who live with others. Okay, so there you go. So the problem is that people who live alone need more motivation. They need to get off their butts, and they need to stop being so lazy. But of course, they're in the poor shape they already are because they've been lazy throughout much of their life. But only those who lived alone. Right, so animals cannot and will not ever replace human beings. Of course, notice that's at the very, 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 very end of the article. 90% of people only read a headline. Did you know that? Something like 90% of people, they just read the headline. So they already got their propaganda out there to further split, further divide people, further gaslight people into believing that animals can stand in for people. But for these people, the authors say living with an animal is a simple change which could be helpful. Could, might, maybe, suggest, so you don't know. Not even the animal really that's doing it. It's just the walking and the going out, and then the animal is a focal point that allows you to break the ice with other people. So it's other people that are the answer, not really the dog. So people just need to work on their socialization skills. They need to stop relying upon social media and instead get out and talk to other people. The pet is not required, and again, it's no replacement for a person. But that is not the message that the leftist media, that is not the message that the Daily Mail wants people, particularly women, because men tend to die on average in America, 7 to 10 years sooner than a woman, and women initiate 80% of divorces. And so the majority of older single people are women. So they're talking to women, trying to get them to be more comfortable, less afraid of being alone when they get older. So they're going to be more likely in their younger years to initiate, or even their older years. A lot of stories of women in their 50s and 60s divorcing their men, and this is going to make them more comfortable in doing that, because they're going to believe that they can use a cat, they can use a dog to make their lives as fulfilling and purpose-filled and comfortable and just as lacking in loneliness as if I had a real human partner there. It turns out that ain't true, ladies. There is no replacement for us. You do need a man, but unfortunately, you're not going to find out until far too late, or maybe never. Maybe never if you keep letting yourselves be influenced and gaslit by the media. But let me know what you think. Can dogs and cats and opossums and rabid raccoons replace a man? Or is there no replacement for us? I think you know where I stand. But let me know what you think in the comment section. And please like and subscribe to my BITCHUTE channel at bitchute.com. I'm the realist philosopher there. I'm also on rumble.com. Also the realist philosopher there. And if you'd like to support my raw, red-pilled content, please consider going and checking out my Patreon and becoming a patron there. I'm also the realist philosopher on Patreon. And on that note, I am out of here. I am the realist philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.